Oh, by the way, there's a good book. Before we leave, my Kindle, I have books that I recommend. Where's my Kindle thing? I'm going to pull it up here. So this is my Kindle app. There's Peter's book there, How to Have Impossible Conversations. He and James. Nice. Open Borders book, by the way. This is a very interesting look at the debate about borders from a libertarian. It's the libertarian argument for open borders as opposed to closed borders in a graphic novel format. This book here, though, Why Are You Yelling? The Art of Productive Disagreement by Buster Benson. You know that cognitive bias eye-shaped circular diagram? It's got 250 whatever cognitive biases arrayed in this sort of spherical pattern. It's like just a mass of them. And he's got Buster Benson is a guy who put that together for the first time and posted an article on them. His history of thinking of productive conversations is issued in this book. I've been highlighting sections of it, but 3 misconceptions: watch how anxiety sparks, talk to your internal voices, develop honest bias, speak for yourself, ask questions. It is a different take on the very similar set of principles and heuristics that Peter and James talk about in their new book. But this guy comes at it from a kind of idiosyncratic way. He's got lots of lovely conceptual metaphors, like pictorial metaphors that I like this. And he's got worksheets and stuff. So it doesn't have the academic flavor that some of this content does. I like it back in the introduction. Talk about weeds, arguments that are like weeds that they will never go away. You have to work with them. You can't clear them out. Anyways, weeds are gone. This is the guys talking about, I pulled out all the weeds and then I think the weeds are gone, but they're still there. The roots are all there and they'll come back later and you'll have to fight them again. And so the idea for me, this is very much in the sort of yin yang, light dark. That is, you have to appreciate that you work with the biases that are built into us, work with the darker sides of human communication and thought in order to manage the garden in such a way that we have productive yields of, great crops or whatever, or great flowers with minimal weeds, because you've managed the weeds in the right way. And if you think you're going to clear out the weeds, you are deceiving yourself, and they will come back harder and faster at some point in the future. So this idea of balancing and understanding that biases can be both productive heuristically and lead you into error. And there are discursive practices that are sometimes perfectly appropriate, and that the same one in different contexts could be a big mistake. I love all this stuff. Anyways, that's my recommendation for now.
That was on my list. Now it's the top of my list. I'll read that next.
Yeah. These little visual metaphors, these little mental models, I love them. I'm a fan of them. The more that we can get these out in circulation is good. Helps to talk about these things too. If you can find a good mental model, if I could find a good mental model to help structure, say, conversations with the postmodern critical theory, social justice, warrior type, that makes sense of the worldview in a way that doesn't patronize, that doesn't distort, that doesn't treat them as fundamentally irrational, I think would be a powerful tool. I hope that they would appreciate it too. Everyone likes to be recognized, right? Everyone wants to be heard.